Welcome to Cinema 5D on the Go. Moving conversations about moving images with filmmakers and industry leaders. Brought to you by Hedge for Mac, Rode Microphones, G Technology, and Sachtler, in association with Ford. This is your host, Nino Leitner.
Welcome to this episode of On the Go. This time we're recording from Photokina 2016, and today I have a very special guest. That's Thorsten Milse, wildlife photographer and Canon ambassador and Sachtler ambassador, right?
That's right.
That's right. Thanks for being with us on the short ride here. I know it's a bit of a weird interview location, but I think it's more fun than sitting on a couch somewhere. So Thorsten, you've been working in wildlife for quite a while. Can you tell me a little bit about how you started? And I'm sure a lot has changed since then.
Yes, please. I'm starting. I was 13 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I got my first camera, my first lens. I was really interested into some urban wildlife, to squirrels, whatever. And after a few years, some journeys with my parents to different places around the world, I was really interested in photography, and I love animals, and I was started to take better photos, or more interested in photos for the other guys, and change from my first camera was a Yashica Contax, and I changed really quick to Nikon. And
but that was of course all on film, obviously.
Yeah, in 1995 I used my first Canon camera, and say, great, it's a little bit different, but it's great, and I use Nikon and Canon together. It was not a really expensive equipment. It was only a 300mm lens, not more. But
only 300
only.
mil is something special for what I shoot. It's like
but normally it is a small birds, and so it is. You need 800 millions. It is a blue tit or so in your garden or so. It's really small, and you have a distance to 5-10 meters. You need 800 millions. But in the end of the 90s, they have good chance to use first Canon telephoto lens for f-stop 4 500mm lens with image stabilizer.
Okay.
And I used it in Canada in a canoe, and it was amazing quality, and the image stabilizer is great.
Well, that was new at the time.
It was new. You can use not a tripod in a canoe, but it was amazing, great, and say, wow. Okay, at home, I sold all Nikon lenses, Nikon cameras, and save a little bit money. And a half year later, I bought my first 500mm lens from Canon. It was, I don't know, about 10,000 German marks.
That's about like 5,000 euros.
And was a really great lens. And for a long time, I used this lens for all my trips, mostly to Africa, sometimes to Australia, and so. And the background, the bokeh was amazing good to this time. And our first, last film camera was 1V. And it was amazing. It was 10 frames per second. And in the beginning of 2000, what was this? 2003, I bought a Canon 10D. It was my first digital camera with 6 million megapixel. And in the end of this year, there was coming the first full-frame Canon 1DS.
When did you think photo cameras kind of like...
Exactly at this time. I was in January together with my last 1V and with a 10D and 1DS. And I took some photos, winter photos from Bryce Canyon, Antelope Canyon, really famous places in US. And I check the photos at home and think, the digital photos looks not so bad.
Yeah.
If it use it in a format A3, it is a double page in a magazine. It's working perfect. But I have more possibilities with the software and see. And in February, next month later, was my first trip without the film camera, and it started to my book Little Polar Bears. I was working with both digital cameras in the high Arctic with minus 40 centigrade, and I was really impressed. The accu power, it is the same as in a 1V, was not really bad.
What about the storage media? Because I remember at the time when I had my first digital camera, I had a 16 megabyte compact flash card.
I had a lot of compact flash cards, maybe, I don't know, 8 or so. But for one day shooting with maximum 2,000 images from a little polar bears, it's quite difficult to find and have not so much chances per day. There was enough, but much better as film. A film had only 36, and the biggest problem when it's more than minus 40 is you put the film out and it's damaged.
Okay.
You know, that's the problem. But I'm really amazing. Nearby me, there's some famous also wildlife photographer. I use Leica and Nikon, and see after 36 frames, then gone. But I can take photos 150 whatever. Was this really nice? You can use your gloves and not your mitts. It is working perfectly. You can change the compact flash cards. It was a really big step in front. I can take more photos and didn't change with my gloves when it's minus 40 or so. The compact flash cards really quick. I can use it for a long time, and it was amazing good. It was a big step in front.
How long did you have to wait usually when you were on assignment in film times? I'm sure you had to wait for a long time to get the film developed sometimes, right?
So exactly. And I'm not really sure how it is working. When you go back at home, you have only one copy. At this time, you can start it with your computer and have a copy on your computer.
Do you think that
it was really amazing good? You have a copy from your original files.
Until recently, there have been a lot of photographers, but also filmmakers that have been, or are still sometimes, like crying for the times when they were shooting on film. Do you think this is just romanticism, or
I think so. That is the same, it is vinyl and CD. Okay, that's a little bit different from a sound, but right now you can believe me, I have a really good CD player at home, really expensive, and the sound is the same as my really good vinyl
Well, I think
player.
people sometimes want these imperfections, right? Now we need to reintroduce the imperfections that actually...
It is right. The first digital images, sometimes it is foggy, misty weather, looks a little bit clean. They miss a little bit the character, whatever, the fine corn in it, whatever. And right now it's totally different. But the next big step was in 2005. There was my trip number 4 to the little polar bears, and I used 16.7 million EOS 1DS Mark II. That was the amazing camera ever been. I took photos from polar bears, from emperor penguins, tigers, whatever, and I published with this camera 3 different books. And it was a quality, and I sold the prints to 3 meter and was say, wow, what's happened there. And a lot of people say, I like film and the quality, and when have a scan, it's much better. I say, no, sorry, our full frame 17 million camera, it's much better. And at this time you have enough space on a compact flash card. You can work with ISO 1600, and it's amazing photos. In film, it's the end 800.
Yeah.
I use a Fuji Provia 800, and it was definitely the end. It looks not really good, and it's not perfect for a double page. With this camera, there was the biggest step in the digital world for me.
So now the light sensitivity is even better. Are you now able to shoot more wildlife in darkness than you were able before?
Right now we are on a really high level with ISO 6400, 12800, and you have double sight in a big book about 70, 80 centimeters from the left to the right side, and it had a quality that looks totally amazing. And especially I love it to work with Predator. My next journey is going to the Jaguar. That is the same. These guys starting in the early morning or in the late evening, and that is a low light situation. Sometimes the distance is 50, 100 meter. You need really good lens with f-stop 4 also, and maybe there's a fight or the cuddling or whatever. There's a lot of movements. You need a shutter speed minimum 500 seconds or so. Then what's working? Okay, let's put it the ISO.
How do you usually travel? I mean, are you alone or with assistants or?
It's a little bit depends. It is a campaign. There's a filmmaker assistant on a way. It is only a trip for my own. It is for the book project South America. There's a guide. She's a woman. She knows the area very well. Speaks Portuguese, Spanish, all languages, and knows the area very well. And have also a boat driver. The boat driver is only driving the boat, looking a little bit for the Jaguar, but my guide, she is a woman, she is still looking for the Jaguar. That is the same as in Africa, you use a car. That is in Pantanal, it is same with a boat. There's a lot of channels and you're looking around. And sometimes it's assistant when I'm work with film since 2 years ago. A little bit more film for my campaigns, for presentation. Here it's a Photokina for Canon, or for Toshiba Sachtler presentation. I use also a making of case study, and I need an assistant to film me. It is really professional. Okay, I use a filmmaker, but it depends from a budget.
Yeah, but when you started filming yourself a little bit as well, right?
Yeah, sure. For 2 years more, I tried before, but I think for 2 years ago, I think, okay, it has helped in my business. Before, it's quite difficult where I'm filming. Okay, I know the footages are, maybe I can sell some footages, but I need a lot of time for the post-production. If you got to pay to a good cutter, you spend a lot of money, and that is a problem. Right now it is good for presentations, seminars, campaigns, but not more. Maybe it'll change in the future, I don't know.
So do you, like, your clients are probably also magazines and stuff?
Yeah.
Do they conduct you, like, give you now jobs for filming as well?
I work a really long time with Geo or Stern magazine, and I know some editors very well, and I can ask and say, my next trip is example to the Jaguar. I will go some projects about the Jaguar. How do you think it is a good chance? Do you want a conservation project, or it is a new story, and see, and have a really good contact. And sometimes I say, okay, we'll give you, please show me some photos, send a selection from the best from the last journey, 2-3 images, say, oh, okay, we find it is great, and give me an assignment, and then it can go.
Okay.
By a book, it's a little bit different. Mostly I work 1-2 years in different scenery, different animals, different situations, and have a small selection about 100 images, put it in a layout, in a PDF file, and ask some publisher, and then say, okay, how do you think about a new book about South America? That's jaguars there, some nice landscape. Cool. How do you think it? And I say, okay, we'll get you in talking, and then say, okay, we want a 200 pages book in a format, and we are talking about the fee, and that depends from the next journey.
So a lot of the jobs you do are basically free projects as well, like your own idea and you sell them to the publishers?
Yeah, exactly. That is the best option for me, and I like it. My job. Yeah. That is my ideas, and can present it to publishers or whatever. That is what I want.
Perfect.
Exactly. It's harder. It's a lot of people take a lot of good shots, and
of course,
images are everywhere, but it's working.
Yeah.